It's popping this mellow back at you with another video. We gonna react to this Umar sitting down with the Daily Wrap Up podcast. Let's get it.
Trying to tell him.
Well, over here, I want to say this to us, though. Because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No.
So the one thing I'm going to say before we get into this, I want you to know that I am an advocate for two things. I'm an advocate for having a household, making sure that this is going to be your long-term mate before you have kids. And this is the other thing. But the other thing I advocate for is not having children out of wedlock. I find it crazy that, you know, the women, they get absolved of all the responsibility and we are responsible for everything that's going on with them. Make that make sense. They find a guy who they can bear a child for, but they can't find a guy to hold it down. Maybe they should find a guy to hold it down before they have their child. And before you say anything, because he's going to just lay all types of accountability on a black man and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I don't got to go deep on this. Remember, it's her body, her choice. The only choice dudes got is preventative before they nut. That's it. That's the only choice we have within the society. You know, we have to either pull out, stay abstinent, or get a vasectomy. Those are the only options that we have, which is preventative. Women, they have birth control. That's a preventative measure. When the birth control doesn't work or when the vasectomy goes wrong or whatever, if the guy does not want to have the baby, he has no choice.
See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us.
I just want to know, I understand it takes two to raise a child. Just understand that. It takes two to raise a child. Takes two to make a child. If that's the case, and the guy is completely out of the picture, we call him a deadbeat, he's responsible to some extent, et cetera, et cetera. How is a single mother that is raising the boy absolved of all responsibility when it takes two to make a child and raise a child? How is she absolved of her 50% responsibility? Do you think there are not bad mothers out there? Do you think there are not abusive mothers out there? Like, it's kind of ridiculous to just paint this picture of all guys and then just absorb. Because this is the thing. It sounds cool when we talking amongst men and women to put all the accountability on the man because that's what, you know, that's the way the society works. The man is supposed to be the man. He's supposed to lead the ship. He's supposed to be accountable for everything. A woman goes into a Wendy's and takes a big shit on the floor. If she got a man, it is her man's fault that she took that shit on the floor. That's how society works. That's how society works, except when it's time for her to go to jail and, you know, do the trial. But, you know, it's the man's fault when you talk to Dr. Umar that she took a shit in the middle of the Wendy's. But how does she get absolved of that responsibility? These people will talk to you about how we supposed to improve the community, but it's only on us. Like we the only people in the fucking community. Like we can control what other people do. This is the funny thing, and I'm gonna just keep it moving. It takes a village to raise a child, actually. That's a very popular phrase, and it's true. Because I look at my own life, I look at the lives of other kids who have become, you know, the Pookies and Ray Rays and stuff like that. Some had they had nothing. They had no support system, pure poverty, worse situations. But there are some who come from 2-parent households who are very, like, their parents had they had their head on straight, they raised the kid good, but guess what got them? The environment. So when he talks about this stuff, and the influences and stuff, when he talks about this stuff, it's all one-sided because it's a good narrative, especially to black women, to where everything that's going on in your life is a man's fault. Everything that's going on in our society is men's fault. It sounds great. It sounds fucking great. That's why they eat it up. Let's keep going.
To be angry with us.
I understand
we have
that.
not been on our job as black men. If the men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father, but guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she not humble enough? She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand that, but she needs to be
If we was
more
loving
selective.
our women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
You're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
No.
There's good
Can I ask you a
quality
question?
men that they ignore.
Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
You gotta ask her that.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection.
Why?
Because black men have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie. If we never allowed Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie. If we going to be men.
So let me touch on this real quick. The first thing, you know, as far as why they're Pookies, you know, I have to, because this is the thing. This is the difference between me and him. I'm going to hold both sides accountable in situations like this. I'm never going to say that it is 100% on a man or that it's 100% on a woman. I'm never going, when we talk about children especially, when we talk about, you know, the black men that abandon their kids and stuff like that, that happens. The thing about it is, like, once it's exposed, once we know about it, the dude's a deadbeat. He's labeled a deadbeat. We all look at him as a deadbeat. Nobody celebrates that motherfucker. That's just what it is. This is the other thing. This is the other thing. That's funny. You will have a bunch of Nick Cannon type niggas who are out here, but without the Nick Cannon money, who are just professional dick slangers. Professional dick slangers. They just running through the community and they got 3-4 baby moms and they got 12 kids. What type of, first off, you not having a household like that. Second, he's making a bunch of single mothers. Third, no responsibility. Like, we have to hold him responsible. That shit is not cute. But no responsibility to the woman who's baby mom number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No responsibility, no accountability. That is ridiculous. We are in a clown world when you talk about that type of stuff. Like, all he is doing. These dudes that you're going to see me react to a lot of the times, these guys are master debaters. They are masters with words. They are political level with the verbal finesse. They are great with the verbal finesse. They are good at shifting the narrative and stuff like that. And I'm going to point it out every time. And the one thing that I have to say, of course, this is going to be triggering for somebody like me that has no kids, that is not a professional dick slanger, pause, out here just having all types of kids. Being held accountable for other niggas' actions. That's crazy. I'm being held accountable when I watch this video. All you black men who don't operate like this, because it's the majority of y'all, it's really only a few of these people, are being held accountable for the decisions of the worst people in the community. It's idealism to say shit like, you know, well, Pookie shouldn't exist. It's idealism. And guess what? It's not realistic. It's not the reality that we live in. So it's bullshit. Let's keep it moving.
First thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel.
I can hear.
Soon as I went back to the video, bro, had to stop it again, dog. That is some of the most ridiculous shit. We have to take responsibility for the way our women feel. If you put that in any other context, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. I have to take responsibility for how another man feels. And you could even paint a context to it about something I said about him or something I said about the job. How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. You know why? Because his perception and how he perceives things is on him, especially if that's not my intent. It doesn't make sense. I have to take accountability for how someone else feels. They chose to feel that way. I'm not going that deep because that's just ridiculous. I just had to lay that. You can think of any context. It's not going to make sense in 90% of them. Even if you give me one where it makes sense, I can give you 4 where it won't make sense.
I think men get further in life with a woman, right? But if I'm a hardworking man, but I'm only looked at as resources,
okay,
and then she's ready to jump on Tom, Dick, and Harry because he got flash, he's shining a little bit more, his access to money is quicker than mine. It's kind of hard to have that.
Well, no, one, I agree with you, but that's not all sisters.
No, it's not.
Now I have to pause there. This is the judo that I was talking about, the verbal judo, because everything else has been black man, we. You know, what are we doing? And all of this stuff. It's been all black men. We are responsible for everything. All the turmoil in the black community is our fault. It's we. Black men. Soon as there is a valid criticism towards black women, valid, not all. It's not all black women. A weak debate tactic. Anytime you pretty much assume the quantification of all when somebody is making a generalized argument, that is just the easy, like it's a straw man that is easy to pretty much try and put a pole in the ground on and try and just debunk the person's whole argument when in most generalizations, you don't mean all. You either mean most or some. So a better way to go about it would be to say not most. Then we can have that discussion. Or not a lot. Then we can have that discussion. But when you say not all, nobody is ever speaking in absolutes when they talk about generalizations. That's just not what it is. So it's bullshit for him to even pull that. That could have been said to all of the stuff he was saying about black men. Not all black men. Not all black men. That gives you, what is the point of even saying that other than trying to negate a person's argument? And it's the weakest thing to do it, especially if it's a valid criticism. Now, this is the other thing about the whole attracted to Pookies and Ray Rays. I just got to keep it real, man. A lot of black women in the hood matter of fact, it don't even got to be that, dog. Just a lot of black women got high bristophilia. We got to keep it 500,000. Go look it up. It's basically an attraction to killers and criminals and stuff like that. I've seen posts on Facebook where chicks was, if I could find it, I will, was bragging and, you know, just making light of sleeping with killers. Talking about it don't got nothing to do with me that he be killing people. And it was like a big joke to them. And it was so funny, so sexy and da-da-da-da-da. I've seen all this shit for motherfucking decades, not years, nigga, decades, 20 of them, 20. I've been seeing this. I've been seeing nurses date thugs. I've been seeing square babes who ain't even from the hood date thugs. These are just facts. This is just what it is. It's a certain quality about that. It might be the danger, whatever it is. I actually had a room on Clubhouse when it first started. Why do educated black women? And this is how I know it's real, my nigga. I'm gonna tell you how real it is. Why do educated black women date thugs and street dudes and drug dealers? That was the title of the room. I'm pretty sure I just used drug dealers and stuff like that. When I tell you the room was bussing. Oh, it was before they let you start recording rooms. Bruh, the room, you don't understand Black women all from all over America was coming in telling us, and I'll probably talk about it another day if y'all want me to, why they date thug dudes, how it was a phase for some of them, why some of them still actively do it, why it's sexy. They feel so protected by these guys, but they won't let their kids get in the same car with these drug dealing street nigga hoodlums and all that shit. This is how real it got though. There were black women from the UK, 2 of them, that didn't even know each other, that came in the room and talked about why they was with thugs. I was on an app for 2 years. I met another UK woman who was a career woman. She had a lot going for her. She used to come down and she had trips all the time. She was with a guy who was in jail for stabbing 2 people. Now, she's a sweet girl. I'm not saying nothing bad about her. She's cool. I fuck with her. But that's who she chose to be with. A guy that was actively in jail for a violent crime. And she was planning to build a life with him. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's most black women who got that going on, but it's enough for that to be a point to talk about. It's enough for that to be a point that they talk about. And to say like, you know, there shouldn't be any Pookies or Ray Rays. There are gangsters in every culture. There are criminals in every culture. They're going to be there. They're going to be there. But at the end of the day, to absolve women of all their attraction towards these dudes is ridiculous and irresponsible. But let me know what you think. I think I cooked this shit. I'm out.